All right, out here checking some more beaver snares. This is kind of an unusual location. See here, I'm standing right in the middle of a snowmobile trail, probably about 3/4 of a mile from the road. And the snowmobile club asked me if I'd come out and take care of the beaver problem. This is just a big swamp, tamarack and alder swamp. Had a little stream running through it that the beaver dammed up. You can see this big horseshoe-shaped dam here. And so that dam now goes right across the middle of their snowmobile trail, and they've been having trouble with their grooming machines. So I walked in here about 5-6 days ago just with 2 traps just to kind of scout it out. It was above freezing, so I didn't bring any snares. And I set one 330 over there, hoping it was an entrance to the beaver lodge. And then saw this big feed bed here, so I knew there's beaver there. Not a really big house, but it's definitely active. The vent hole's on top. But looking around here, they just don't have a lot of food. You see cedar and balsam and tamarack and some ash there. They're chewing down ash and maybe 1 or 2 birch, but not a lot for food. You look at their feed bed here, and it's mostly willow and some alder. I found a couple aspen branches, but not much. So what I did over here is kind of some exploratory surgery. The ice was really thin here, so I just chopped it out and checked the depth, and it's only about 6-8 inches deep over there, and then gradually slopes down to about maybe 3 feet deep over here. And then there's a wall edge against the sod wall where you can see there's a stump there. So normally the beaver will move down the middle of this area and they'll create a trench, and that's where you want to set your 330 body grip trap. But in this case there was no trench, so I opted for the bottom edge set that I talked about in my skinning video, and I can put a link to that in the description. But just like you would for a mink or muskrat, you put that Conibear right against the edge, and they'll stick close to it. This is really dark, murky water, so they can't see very well, so they're just going to want to travel where they can feel with their belly and along the sides and the bottom. So I just stuck a 330 in there, and came back a couple days later, had that big 55-pound beaver. So I reset that, and then I put 3 snares in because it was colder. Those 2 are not touched. This one here was eaten completely off, which I made a mistake, and I hung the snares too far under the ice. Remember I said they want to chew off the stick as close to the ice as they can. Well, I had it down too far, so that was my mistake. So I chopped a hole here, and this body grip bottom edge set is sprung again. So what I'm going to do is try to stick the camera down in the water and see if that works. Like I said, it's really dark water, so just bear with me. Kind of warm today, but you know, putting my bare arm in that water when it is 24 degrees up, it does get chilly. So I'm going to set this up here and chop out the rest of that hole and see what we got in the trap. see a beaver. Okay, another big one, probably about the same size as that one I caught the other day. So even though that snare is chewed off, it may have very well been this beaver. So I'm actually guessing that there's probably just these two in here, just that breeding pair with a relatively small house. Probably not much for a whole colony. You can see all the chewings on the trees around here. We're at the same height. The beaver will usually chew the tree as high as they can reach, so we know that there's no little kits in here where they'd be cut off really short. So they're all about the same height, which is pretty high, hence the big beaver. So I'll reset this and leave those two snares for another few days just in case, but I think that these are the only two in here.